Trying to think of how to come into this one.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
I'm going to bugger it up though. All right, ready? Hey everybody, welcome to the Wednesday episode that gets released every Wednesday of Up Late with Glenn and Chloe. I'm Chloe.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Hot Mess.
Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday night. It's up late. It's past Chloe's bedtime, or should I say Pippi Longstocking's bedtime, or perhaps Anne of Green Gables.
I'll go with that one. I prefer Anne.
Anne with an E?
Anne with an E, definitely, always.
Excellent. And we are a little bit of a spin-off from the Good Movie Monday podcast. We do this every Wednesday night. It's just some unscripted, off-the-cuff conversation with a cup of coffee. But Good Movie Monday returns this coming Monday. We're back, and I can't wait.
How exciting, right?
Very exciting.
It feels like only yesterday that we said cut for a couple of months and it's already rolled around. That's just nuts to me.
Time does fly, for sure. Alrighty, let's get into it. What are we going to talk about this week? Maybe. Oh no, you're like out of the gates, ready to go. I can tell.
I am so on the ball these last couple of weeks. I have got so much prepared, honestly. But you go first. I've got patience.
And now I've lost my train of thought.
Oh no.
You go ahead.
Okay, cool. I watched a trailer for a new animated movie that's coming out that I'm super excited to see. Sam Rockwell plays the lead in it. The bad guys. Yes.
Looks pretty fun.
I watched the trailer for it today, and it just looks great, and the animation kind of reminds me of the Mitchells versus the Machines sort of Into the Spider-Verse type yep. Animation, and I think it's going to be freaking awesome.
It certainly does look like a very savvy comedy.
Yeah,
playing very heavily to a lot of adult tropes, which will keep the parents glued while the kids, pick up on all the other stuff.
Animation these days it's come so far, and the fact that I can sit and enjoy it. Like I can appreciate it now looking back onto the animation that I watched, and now I get to still enjoy animation. And I don't just have to, sit through it with the kids,
There was a time there for quite a while where kids animation, I feel, got really dumbed down, and it was very, very preschool and babyish. And for parents that had to take their kids to the cinemas to see it, or had to endure it every day on repeat at home. It just wasn't, it was driving parents insane. So now we've got these movies where there's a lot of adult humor in there, very discreetly sort of beneath the surface. And yeah, so much more enjoyable for a parent to watch on.
So much. Yeah. It makes it awesome to be able to sit down and actually enjoy a movie with your kids that everyone, can partake in. So I think, it's just come such a long way. And I'm actually really excited for that one because I do really like Sam Rockwell. So yeah. I'm excited for it.
Cool. We left the video last week, I believe, with me saying I was going to go and see the Batman. All right. So I have seen the Batman, and it is Wednesday night, so the embargo has just lifted, and we can talk about it, which is awesome. Where do you want me to start? Do you want to ask questions, or do you just want me to go for it?
I am intrigued. Tell me your initial thoughts. So the movie has finished. The lights have come on. Were you with Ben?
No, he didn't make it to this one because I won't even go into why.
That's okay.
I was sitting with my editor from the magazine I write for.
Oh, okay. All right.
And he is an uber Batman / DC kind of guy.
Okay, so what are the first words that come out of your mouth?
That was way too long.
Oh no!
And he looked at me and goes, "You're way too long." Right. So let's start with that because we can dissect it. It's 3 hours long, and it's palpable. Like you can tell so many marks where they could have trimmed. Right. There are so many scenes that just stretch on and on for no reason, and they're usually the slower, boring scenes. Like if it's sitting beside a hospital bed just having a conversation, those scenes just go on for like 15 minutes. It's like, fucking hell, that's a 5-minute scene. Get rid of the rest of it.
Okay, yep.
And there's a lot of that. So immediately lose at least half an hour. I would go so far as to say lose 90 minutes, and you'd have a really, really tight film.
Okay. Yep.
But it's good. It is. It's the darkest of all the Batman movies, easily. It's almost like a David Fincher version of Batman.
Yeah, right.
And that's the interesting thing about this one, is that it's a crime film. It's not so much a vigilante film like the rest of them, or a superhero film. It is very much grounded in a sort of reality, and the villains are much more human in this one.
Right. Yeah.
And Batman's more fallible. He's human in this one. Like, I know he always is, but he can be injured in this one. He doesn't have a flash Batmobile. He just has a hotted up Charger, like it's just a plain car that's black. Yeah, and everything that Batman / Bruce Wayne does is realistic in terms of him being a human.
So they've humanized the character.
Yeah, they kind of. I felt like it was a real throwback to the Tim Burton Batman films, the two that he did. At times it looks like his films, and then tries to then push it more in that Nolan, like I said, David Fincher kind of realm, where it's very, very, very gritty.
Right. And how did my man do? How did my main man Edward Cullen do? I need to know.
Well, look,
did he pull it off?
I'm going to say yes, but that's not without reservation. He is the wimpiest of all the Batman. He's the Edward Cullen of Batman. He's mopey all the time. He's sooky. He's
brooding. The PC term is brooding.
It's not even brooding. It's not even brooding. It's just wimpy. It's a strange take on Bruce Wayne particularly.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he looks like an emo. He takes off his helmet, and yes, he's got the black eyes, but we know that's for the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got the emo hair, and he doesn't brush it back, for the Bruce Wayne stuff. He just leaves it the way it is, and he's like a sooky teenager. It was disappointing to see Bruce Wayne presented this young and this emotional, but it's not the be all and end all. Like, you can push past it. If it was a shorter film, they wouldn't have had so much of it, and it would have been like, much easier to
more tolerable. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
Colin Farrell is unrecognizable. Like, it's very, very hard to even imagine that is him when you're looking at him.
Colin Farrell, who does he play? I've literally read nothing.
He plays the Penguin.
Ah.
But in this, the Penguin is just a mobster. He's like a Martin Scorsese style of mobster.
Yeah.
But he's got so much prosthetic on his face to make him look heavy and scarred that you can't even tell it's Colin Farrell, not even in the eyes. It's really strange.
Wow.
And we had the Riddler, which was Paul Dano, which it's not the Riddler. Like, it is not the Riddler as all the other Batman sort of interpretations have led us to believe. This is just a young, unhinged guy, closer to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, who is just an absolute psychopath. Like, he's absolutely hell-bent on maiming and destroying. Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds like a good movie to me. Like, it just
does, but I think you'll probably come out of it like I did, though, and go, yeah, that was a good movie, if not for being 3 hours long. 3 hours is very taxing when the story's so convoluted, and it's not as action-driven as any of the other Batman.
I'm okay with a long movie. I like, no matter what
you say that,
but
it. So am I. Like, my favorite movies are the longest ones. I can sit there for 5 hours and watch, Dances with Wolves. It doesn't matter to me, but they've got to have reason to be that long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll find, if you're paying attention, I think you will find that there's so many scenes in there that don't need to be there, and there's so many moments that don't need to be that long. I think that's the problem. But
so anyway. Why do you think that they went ahead and did that, to try and set themselves apart in some other way as well? Like, they just kind of wanted to...
I think they were just so wrapped up in what they were doing that they probably didn't even really consider it. I don't think they, in their minds and their hearts, thought it was too long.
Because
they've written it, and they're the ones that are passionate about their material.
A 90-minute movie is a lot to write. That's a lot to write. So to write a 3-hour movie, they must have felt like they had. Yeah.
Having said that, though, most of these kind of films are always written as sort of a 3-hour thing, and they always get cut right down to size.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's just the way you usually over-deliver, and then in the process of pre-production, you bring it down, and when it gets to the edit room, you bring it down. You know,
so
that happens with lots of things.
One of my good friends from high school is probably the biggest Batman fan I've ever come across. Ever. So I'm actually going to get his opinion as well and have that ready to go by next week and see what he says about it as well, because I'd love to get his opinion and find out. But it's really interesting to me. I kind of felt like I knew what you were going to say anyway, but I was hoping to be surprised. You know what I mean?
But I still liked it. Like, I could have come out saying it was shit, and it wasn't shit.
That's true.
You know, it was really well made.
Zoe Kravitz, how does she do? She looks a little bit brooding in this as well. I feel like she's being a little overused at the moment as well.
She's useless in the film. Like, she doesn't really have much purpose in there at all. She's in it for a lot of the film, but she's not Catwoman in it. Like, she's not Catwoman.
Oh, okay.
She's just Selena. She's a wannabe vigilante, but she's not. She hasn't adopted the persona.
Right. Okay. She's no Halle Berry.
She's no Halle Berry. But like, I just found her completely pointless all through the film. It's like you're distracting me from everything else that's going on, and you're distracting Bruce Wayne as well. And it's just sort of weird that they've once again
typical female.
They've made that mistake that so many Batman installments have done by putting too many villainous characters into the films. You look at The Dark Knight. They put Two-Face in there and then rounded off his story in the second half of the film, just as they were establishing who he was.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have jammed him in there. They should have left him for his own installment. And the same thing with like Batman Forever. They put was it Poison Ivy, and they put the Riddler, and they put Two-Face. Like, it was just too many in one.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this was kind of going in that direction where they're just introducing too many people where they could spread it out.
Right.
Whatever.
Interesting.
I'm keen to get your friends' take on it. I'm keen to get other people's take on it too. I mean, this is coming from someone that doesn't particularly like comic book movies. Having said that, Batman are the ones I tend to gravitate towards anyway. But
yeah, I mean, I do like the superhero movies, but like I've said before, DC is just not my lane. I'm not a DC nerd. I'm a MCU nerd.
Yeah, see, and this is the thing too. I think you're coming at it from the modern DC Marvel kind of thing, whereas my DC love was before those two sort of opposing, juggernauts started going at each other. So when Tim Burton was doing Batman, it wasn't like DC versus Marvel. It was just like, here's a cool superhero movie.
Yeah, and that's like when The Dark Knight came out. That's when I was in high school. So that was kind of what I was exposed to. I'd never actually seen a Batman movie before that. And I haven't seen one after that. I don't think that's the only one I've seen. Sort of
far out. You really have to go and watch those first two Tim Burton ones. Like,
I've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
No, fucking hell. That's not a Tim Burton movie, and that's considered one of the worst of the lot.
Yeah, so I've seen the Dark Knight and the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. So that's my exposure to.
I know, but there's not. I don't think there is a soul on earth watching us that would disagree that the two Tim Burton ones are the best.
I mean, I'm not in a hurry to go see them, but I will take that suggestion on board because I really do want to see this new one. So let's see how I go with this.
And Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito. Oh, it's great stuff. Christopher Walken.
I mean, I'll get behind Christopher. I can get behind. No, that was terrible. That was my Christopher Walken.
Wow.
If anyone's wanting to hire me, for impressions.
So anyway, another movie that Ben and I did see during the week was the new Foo Fighters Studio 666. And this is, we did a reaction video to it, which I believe will be up tomorrow night. This is fucking amazing.
It looks really good.
This is going to really, really play on people's minds. It's going to be a bit conflicting for those people that love the Foo Fighters and Dave Grohl but fucking hate horror, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, I want to see this new Dave Grohl Foo Fighters movie, and yet it is genuine horror. Like, this is not only really scary, it's insanely gory and insanely violent, and at the same time hilarious. It's got all of it in there. And as Ben and I both sort of picked up, it does things in horror that we haven't seen in horror movies before.
Wow,
very,
really?
Very, very seldom. Yeah, it's great.
Wow, so you're giving it really high praise.
Yeah. Once again, it's too long. It could probably do with a 25-minute cut. But that being said, it's sort of Evil Dead and Brain Dead all wrapped into one. When the horror is happening, it's scary. Demons coming up staircases and shit. It's really scary. And then when the violence takes hold, it's just a delicious smorgasbord of blood splatter and things that you've never seen on film before.
I think this is going to be the one that breaks my back because I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, you'll love it. It might actually, you'll probably feel like Dave Grohl's passion for horror by watching it, and that might be infectious.
Yeah, yep.
You know what I mean? Because he's coming to this, like, you can tell they love the genre so much that they just relish every second of it. And as Ben pointed out, like, the Foo Fighters are not off limits. Like, they're just as vulnerable as anyone else, and horrible things get done to the Foo Fighters.
That's great. That's so great. And what perfect timing with them releasing tickets as well for their one-time show in Geelong. How good is that?
By the time that people see this video, I think the 1 week theatrical run's probably up, but it will be streaming real soon anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to get back to you on that because that's going to be something that I can't avoid, and I might have to watch it during the day, so just to ease me into it.
It was an absolute crowd pleaser. Everybody that was there loved it. Yeah.
Did they clap? Did they clap at the end? Yeah. Oh, did they?
I hate that though. Like, I hate it when people clap at a premiere as if the filmmaker's there to applaud. Like, there's no one there representing the film. You've just got the distributor presenting it because they want you to like it.
That is just such the most amazing thing about being in a cinema, though. Like, the crowd feeds off each other and everyone claps because they're so happy.
I love crowds feeding off each other. I hate that round of applause at the end. Like, it's the most stupid, fucking pointless thing ever. Like, there is no point applauding a film unless you've got the director in attendance to receive it.
I love it. No, I love it. I think it's the most white person thing to do. And, like, don't you just feel like so like such a dork? Like, embrace your dorkiness and just clap.
You didn't just say that's such a white person thing to do, did you?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
No, it's the complete opposite. Have you ever been to like an African American screening and seen how they react?
No.
Oh, it's fucking woo! Like, fucking. If you think that what we do,
I want to go there. Then that's where I want to go. Yeah. I want to join that. That's the crowd that I need.
Well, there you go. But I can tell you what, I think everyone that applauds at the end of a film is a dickhead.
Well, colour me dickhead. Kmart wanker dickhead to your service. Oh my gosh, we're just adding to my many nicknames now.
Hey, you know what? We do have a TikTok account, Good Movie Monday, so everyone should go on there. Let's make it a TikTok moment, just where we say, hey, if you're on TikTok, like us.
Okay. Yes. You want me to do that now?
Sure. We've probably just done it.
Hey, if you're on TikTok, go and like us.
Hang on. If you're on TikTok, they are on TikTok because this is where they see the video.
You're on TikTok right now, so just shoot us a little.
Are we pointing at the right? That's an epic fail. We tried.
You know me. I need direction, and I don't have any direction from you, Glenn. And I need direction. All right.
This is supposed to be the video without direction.
Well, then I can't help you. I'm so sorry.
Did you read about Kenneth Branagh in the news?
I haven't.
Speaking of crossover multiverses and shit like that, so he did direct Thor, didn't he? He's part of the MCU.
Okay.
But he also directed the new Death on the Nile, which is the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes.
And he's just come out saying that he wants to do what he would call a Christieverse and have Agatha Christie characters crossing over. Like, so Poirot meets Miss Marple and shit like that.
So good.
Oh, no.
So good.
Like, it's a geriatric's dream. Geriatric's dream.
Yes, there is a market. There is a market for that. That is an untapped market, and he'll do well.
That is a cinema full of granny buggies and
and like butter menthols being unwrapped and soothers and
Fisherman's Friend.
And what?
Let's not forget man-sized hankies. Have you seen the man-sized tissue boxes?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that because men sneeze big or they blow big?
I'm still within a family that uses hankies. Believe it or not, my father uses hankies.
Oh, that's okay. It's that generation.
He's not even old.
Okay.
He's 46.
Is it up his sleeve?
No.
Okay.
No. He's not an upper sleeve guy, but I think they're gross. I hate them. I think like, no, you don't blow your nose and then put it back in your pocket. You get rid of that shit.
No, because when they need to blow their nose again, they've got to open it back up.
Like,
and you can just
why?
see that dry snot dust just going.
No. And who wants to wash that in their washing machine? Honestly, come on.
I have a thing about snot. I can't.
You can't do snot. Is that where you draw the line?
I can't talk about it.
Oh.
No.
We get a Julia.
My family always try to get me at the dinner table with it, and I cannot finish my dinner if they do.
So when I post TikToks of me with my finger up my nose, does that really trigger you?
No. But if you were to pull it out, and then if you were to do the whole, I can't even.
So you do realize what my entire job is at work, yeah?
Yeah.
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 Imagine that. 10 hours a day. Anyway, let's move on. I have, my hubby's been on night shift this weekend, so I have been scrolling the flicks and I couldn't decide on what to settle on, and then I found Pride and Prejudice. So your girl watched Pride and Prejudice last night, and then she watched Jane Eyre today because I'm in a bit of a mood at the moment. And no, this is because I couldn't be fucked straightening my hair. I did these bits, that's enough. Yeah, so I just wanted to know if there was like a book that you loved that got turned or adapted into a movie or like a miniseries or whatever that you loved.
Yeah, heaps. Well, off the top of my head, the first thing that comes to mind is The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. The Wizard of Oz books are phenomenal. Anyone that knows the movie with Judy Garland is not really like the books, but if you love the books, you still love that film. Like,
of course.
Just, you know. What else? Anne of Green Gables.
I
have all 14 books in that series, and I think most of the films they've made of that, particularly the Megan Fellows ones, were just beautiful.
Yep, it's been a long time since I've seen those.
Mary Poppins.
Yep.
I don't
all the classics.
Well, I don't think now I want it, but like for a long time, I wanted them to adapt all of the Mary Poppins stories into films, but that never happened. What else? I don't know. There's probably there's a few I want to see. Like they were almost going to adapt a Stephen King book called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon into a movie with George Romero directing. That's one I was devastated never happened.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
One of my favorite books did get turned into a movie. I wasn't, thrilled about the outcome of it, but it was kind of nice to see it come to life. And that was, it's called The Book Thief. So Marcus Zusak, who is an Australian author, he's probably my favorite Australian author. He's written a few books that I love, and yeah, when that got turned into a movie, I was like, and then I saw Jeffrey Rush was in it, and so I got behind it a little bit, but I still wasn't wowed,
But it's that thing, and I argue this all the time on the show and just in general. When people do the whole "it's not as good as the book" argument, it's like, well, it's a different thing. It's like it's not as good as the book, but it's a movie in its own right.
Yeah.
And half the films that we love, we probably have no knowledge of being books, even though they are,
Yeah, obviously.
So,
yeah.
So if you'd seen The Book Thief and had no knowledge of the actual book, you might think it's fantastic.
No, I probably still wouldn't be overly wowed with it. And that is actually being quite decisive, quite I don't even know what I'm trying to say, like looking from it outside of the box.
Yeah.
I don't think I still would have been wowed with it, but I still love the book. So
yeah.
And then also there's Interview with the Vampire, obviously. That's another one of my favorites as well.
See, that's a great adaptation of a book that doesn't adapt it verbatim, but it's still a really good film.
It's a great film. It's a great book, and it's a great film. Oh, and also Oliver.
Oliver.
Mm-hmm. Oliver. What's it called? What's the book called?
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist. Yeah, Oliver Twist. But that was a movie that Mum and I used to watch a lot. And whenever I used to be grumpy, she used to say, "Cheer up, Charlie." And then
that's Willy Wonka.
Cheer up, Charlie. Yeah. What's the one from Oliver? Oh, please, sir, may I have some more? Yeah. When I used to ask for more 2-minute noodles. Fuck. We used to watch a lot of movies when I was a kid.
Just have a moment to compose yourself.
Okay, yeah, we're good. Why did I think that was from Oliver?
I don't know.
I've never read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, if that makes any difference.
It's a good read.
Is it?
It is a good read. I just read that Benedict Cumberbatch is being sued because his production company is making a new adaptation of Danny the Champion of the World, which is a Roald Dahl book.
Right.
Previously made into a fantastic film with Jeremy Irons back in the 90s. I don't know the circumstances of why he's been sued, to be honest with you. I only started reading the article when we jumped onto Zoom to do this, and I didn't get to finish it. But
well, could it be? Was there not a Roald Dahl biopic done that they weren't particularly fond of? Like the family weren't particularly fond of it, and they tried to sue them as well.
Well, the Roald Dahl estate has been notorious for rejecting movie offers and things like that, and I think the one they reneged on and were excited to go ahead with was the Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that was a colossal fuck up on their part. Like they, clearly saw the error of their ways, and I think since then they've closed their doors again, and they're like, we've got to be very, very selective about what we do. Same with, I've lost my train of thought. There was another Roald Dahl one that really tanked, and it bit them hard.
The BFG, was that Roald Dahl?
That is Roald Dahl. I'm not sure if that's one they regretted. That's a real doozy. That's a Spielberg film, so I love Spielberg, but the strange thing is that's a pretty fair and accurate adaptation of the book, but it's not a book that you should adapt. It reads better than it plays.
It does.
Film.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, he's been sued. Danny the Champion of the World's a great story, so I hope they get it made because it would be good. But yeah, the Jeremy Irons one is fantastic.
Cool. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah.
Or I don't think I've even ever read that one.
And his son, I think his son's name's Max or something like that, plays Danny in the book. So they play father and son in the movie, I should say.
Very nice.
We're just about out of time. Maybe got a minute or two. Anything
else?
Are we? Did you see that Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor are back together?
I saw an interview with him and he said something about his wife. And I'm like, shit, did he get married again? But no, did they get back together?
They did. So there's
good.
a nice Hollywood story. Feels good.
I was quite, I don't really get into the whole divorce marriage thing of celebrities, but that one actually really cut me a little bit because I was like, they're so perfect together. When you just feel like a couple is good together, and that was them.
Yeah, one of those Hollywood stories, it was just meant to be.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's nice.
Nice to have a video with a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better get me those man-sized tissues. Got a happy ending.
Well, my name ain't Dickhead for no reason.
We can end it there if you'd like.
Maybe it's a good idea. All right, can we get through one video without me just making a colossal wanker of myself?